I am saying, in light of the fact that you guys were unable to contribute any evidence,
Okay.
I am suggesting evidence, and you yourself wanted me to read Sabius. Was it not you who asked me to read that? So you suggested that, and I am trying to read.
What do historians say about that Cebius? How do they interpret it?
I have read Sabius himself,
Okay.
and you clearly haven't advanced your case.
No, but I want to understand.
I don't know where you want to go
You
with.
are an average person, average Joe.
Excuse me, sir. I don't care whether you are average, more than average, less than average.
historians
I
say?
care about evidence.
What do
I'm reading
historians
to you evidence. Have you got any comment on this?
We read Cebius together.
Have you got any comment on this?
And what you done was you just nitpicked.
Forget about what I've done. What have you got to do anything now, right now?
Can you read the whole thing? We can see or not?
I can do again, but it's good to see you after a while, yeah.
Okay,
Long
okay,
time.
please.
Land the plane again. Is this what
Let
you
him
say?
read.
This is evidence of what?
What I am saying is there are only.
Second time, right? Just read it again. Let them hear it.
I am only saying these guys. There are some artifacts which are early references to a person called Muhammad.
Thank you. So a person called Muhammad existed.
When you read through those details of those inscriptions, they miserably fail to support Islam. There are something like,
In what sense?
I'm still speaking.
Okay, go ahead.
You don't have to interrupt every now and then. I can read through all of these artifacts, you can put them all together, you still would not get the basic building blocks of who Muhammad of Islam is. For instance, Muhammad, Arabs, Prophet, Islam, Muslims. 5 very relevant terms. These ideas are crucially missing when these people are taking all the trouble to record details concerning them. That's all I'm saying. And so all that I'm going to say on top of that is clearly these guys, Muslims, I'm sorry, I don't mean you, Muslims can't use these texts to make their case. They have to go somewhere else to see if anything else exists to provide positive evidence. And when they simply can't do, they need to put both their hands up and say, we are sorry, we believe blindly in things which are not established by history and are purely based on mythological ideas which came about from later times. I'd like them to say that. They refuse to do it. You know, you as a gentleman, in our, in our conversation here, we'd like to think we can engage with points, with areas where we may disagree. And how do we have conversation in areas of disagreement? You may provide a fact, which I might not know before, or I may do the same, and then we can go somewhere with it. See what I'm saying? If none of us is going to provide a fact, I'm going to say, and if it is something which is consequential for us, i.e., you're going to, based on that particular claim, you're going to do serious stuff. Like you're going to force the government to do something, or you're going to force other people to do something, I'm going to say, don't do anything blind. Because you haven't provided evidence. You see what I'm saying? And that's all I'm trying to do right now. This guy, Muhammad, the gentleman here, Muhammad, has been here for now maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. He comes across as very friendly, but that doesn't help. He is still a blind Muslim. He is a friendly blind Muslim, but still a blind Muslim. Just like the other unfriendly blind Muslims. That's all I have to say. So let's go back here. I can, like I said earlier, this is the entire list of what Mansoor has got based on years worth of research for you. Muhammad, you might not have done this research much before, but Mansoor has done this for you. Years worth of research. You can go through every single one of them and try and find out if all of these inscriptions put together can help you establish fundamental building blocks of Islam in regards to Muhammad. Muhammad, Islam, Muslims, Prophet of Arabs. A simple thing to ask for. And if you can't do it, at least agree that your decisions are blind and not based on historical evidence. That's all I'm asking you to do. Very easy to do that. If you think it's too much to read 15, 20 pages in 10 minutes, I agree. But please take this as a homework, as an assignment for
I
you.
understand. I'm still sticking on that point there.
Okay, please do. Contribute some meaningful statements now.
I want to know what's your interpretation of that.
I gave you my interpretation already.
Okay, fine.
The outlier, the initial interpretation I already gave. No indication whatsoever that this person is a prophet of the Arabs.
Fine. Can I just say one thing? The historians that have looked at this, like Robert Hoyland, like people like Patricia Crone, Michael Cook, Oxford, Cambridge. Who do they say this refers to?
Does that matter?
It matters because those
I
are
have the
historians.
text in front of me. How does what Tom, Dick and Harry think about this matter?
This one
I
says
want to
clearly.
know.
I can't believe this is happening here.
What do the professional
Are
historians...
you going to be blind purely because Robert Hoyland says something? Is that what you're telling me?
You got this from Robert Hoyland.
My dear friend, the gentleman
What
here,
do the
what's your
historians
name?
say
sir?
about it?
Peter.
Peter here, very dear gentleman, who is willing and friendly enough to make a few remarks. He knows and understands when I read an artifact, as long as it's rightly quoted, I didn't make this up. He is willing to see what is there. It doesn't matter what Tom says and Harry says. None of those things matter.
Academic scholarship doesn't matter.
Later on, but I have the I have.
What do they say though?
I mean,
That's the problem.
metaphorically, I have the goose that lays the golden eggs here. You can read this, and you're going back to some silver, whatever silly hair people or whatever. The gold egg laying goose is here.
You studied this, right?
Read the artifact
Tell
itself.
me, so if you read this and you've studied it, tell me what the scholarship
Mohammed,
says about it. What does the scholarship say
Let
about
me
it?
try and find out if you are any honest person.
I asked you a question.
Don't ask me questions. Please take time, read this. I'll give you 2 minutes. Please read. You can hold this if you want. Please read this. Make some comments.
Can I hold it?
Yeah, you
you've
can.
Read it. You've read it, but what does the scholarship say about it? What do the academics say
Yeah,
about it? So you don't care what academics say
Excuse me, sir. If you don't want to read the ultimate artifact, I have.
Do you know anything about Islam?
Wow. Are you going to get help from someone else?
No, I'm just asking.
Are you so clueless and helpless?
I just want help.
Is that what's
Can
going
you
on
read
here?
it? Read it. and-
Why have you always been trying to find out if there is at least one person who hasn't read what I've read here already?
The reason I'm asking, can you read it? Read this.
Excuse me, sir.
Any Muslim.
Him reading isn't going to help you. You are as blind as you were before. That's my very dear wife. So don't worry about that. Don't worry. You don't have to be sorry. All that I have to say is clearly there is no one here who could help you. The only person who could help you is you yourself. Please read the text. Hey Mohammed. Hey Mohammed, can I tell you something, please?
The Prophet Muhammad.
Mohammed, can you tell me, sir? Can I tell you something, please?
Oh, tell me something. No problem. Go ahead.
It doesn't take much. Spend 2 minutes, read it.
I've read it. But I want
All right, now tell me a few things about this. Anything?
experts. It's a very simple question. He's claiming this doesn't
It's a very simple question which tells me that you don't want to engage with evidence.
Let's read it.
Please do.
At that time, a certain man
Yep.
from among those,
Yep.
the same sons of Ishmael,
Yep.
whose name was Mahmed,
Yep.
a merchant, as if by God's command,
Yep.
appeared to them as a preacher.
Please listen, sir.
As if by God's command, people can argue as a prophet, but anyway, of the path of truth. He taught them to recognize the God of Abraham,
Yep.
especially because he was learned and informed in the history of Moses. And because the command was from on high, at a single order, they all came together in unity of religion.
Yep.
Do you want to continue or finish?
Yeah, please. Muhammad,
Abandoning the
someone
vain
is trying to
cults,
help you out,
they
and you're now
they
distracted.
turned
What's going
the
on?
living God who appeared to them as the father of Abraham.
Yeah.
So Muhammad legislated for them not to eat carrion, not to drink wine, not to speak falsely or engage in fornication. He said, with an oath, God promised this land to Abraham and this seed for him forever and ever. And he brought about as he promised during that time while he loved Ishmael. So, okay, I mean,
And what kind of picture can you build
so
about this person?
my impression is this is somebody who was commissioned by God to come instruct the Arabs to go back to the
Arabs?
religion
There's
of
no mention of the word Arabs. Where is the word Arabs?
sons of Ishmael at that time. Was,
Whoa. Do not assume anything. If I allow, Wow, excuse me, sir.
That's what the
If
story
I,
says.
excuse me,
All right, go ahead.
if you assume things, then we might as well close this conversation because clearly you already assume Islam to be true.
Okay.
What's the point in having
So
this conversation?
somebody came.
Don't assume anything.
So here
No, that sons of Ismail.
it is true. But we can play the
Excuse
game. we
me,
can play the
sir,
game.
in your dream world.
So
This doesn't say
a
this
person came who was a merchant, and he came and God commanded him to, and he was sent to the sons of Ishmael. Who the sons of Ishmael were, we don't know. I'm assuming this person recognizes that the people came from Arabia.
No. Whoa.
No?
Please don't assume anything.
Okay.
All, in other words, I am trying to, hey, Mohammed has run away. What's happened? Mohammed, excuse me. There we go.
But the
So
author,
one second. Can I please? You were at least sincere. You wanted to read, yeah?
Well, let's
But do you
see.
see what happened with Mohammed?
That's fine.
The moment he was looking exactly for an exit clause. That's all he was looking for. And the moment he found it, he used it. Is this learning things?
But we can assume that we can assume the author of this. Who is the author?
Yes,
CBS.
yeah.
We can assume he was talking about. Okay, are you saying this person is talking about a person called Muhammad?
Yep.
And that he wasn't from Arabia? We don't know that. You're saying.
Well, you tell me. Does the text talk about Arabia?
The text says sons of Ishmael.
Yeah.
Now,
Is
okay,
does it
some
say-
people say Ishmael. Some scholars will say at that time Ishmael. The Arabs will know. Eusebius, for example, talked to the Arabs as Ishmaelites, doesn't he?
Let me make it really simple.
So
That's-
what's your okay? Here,
There were plenty of people who were supposed to have been in that region. If you were to claim only Ishmael populated the entire region, you're being anti many people.
I agree.
Exactly.
So the point here is this one snippet tells us of a person coming from God, telling them to return to the religion of Abraham, I think of Moses as well. I think he said it somewhere.
Yep.
And don't eat pigs.
Sure.
Don't drink wine.
Sure.
And don't speak falsely.
Sure.
That's fine.
Good. So please answer my few questions for me. Yeah. So it gives a name. Fine. No problem. Muhammad. Does it refer to him as prophet? Maybe you can say, by God's command. So
Yeah.
some
Implied.
level. Implied.
Not
But
explicitly.
what is the identity of the God mentioned here?
Initially as a merchant, yes, merchant.
No, of God. Which
Oh,
God?
of God.
What God, yeah. Very good.
Abraham's God.
God.
Yeah.
And we understand historically, God of Abraham is who we know as Yehovah. Do you think you follow Yehovah?
Actually, Abraham's God is a monotheistic God. That's what
Excuse
he
me,
says.
sir. Excuse me, sir. You're rambling on right now. I'm asking for a name.
Two words. Are you
Would
alright?
you call-
Are you alright? Let me ask a question. Don't ask a question and don't reply. It doesn't work like
What is the name of Abrahamic God according to historical
I give you the
artifacts?
scripture. He's a monotheistic God, and that was before Judaism. There was some Judaism at the time, and Yahweh, all this concept. Abraham called it a monotheistic God, and that's what he's famous for.
What's
so
your
I know
name?
what you're talking about.
What's your
It's
name?
regardless. It doesn't matter. I should
What's
answer the
your
question. Doesn't matter. I told you. I'll give you.
Let me tell you something very
Is
frankly.
it false what I said?
Yeah. Related to what you said.
What part was false?
If you don't interrupt, I'll tell you.
Go on.
I'm already dealing with plenty of brainwashing, yeah? I'm dealing with one point of brainwashing at a time, okay?
So you're not answering
And
the
I'm
question. Go on.
and I am clearly telling you that the entire passage refers to God as God of Abraham. Now, don't assume anything about this God of Abraham. Let's stick with only historical artifacts. If we only stick with historical artifacts, it can be clearly demonstrated that God of Abraham is a God whose name is Yehovah. We have gone beyond monotheism. You need to keep up. Excuse me, sir.
Where'd you get it from? Where'd you get it from?
Plenty of sources. I can name sources in a little bit for you.
What sources?
Let me finish the
Okay,
statement.
what's your source? We know your source. What sources? I can make a search too. What sources?
No, my request is let me finish making my assertions first. Thank you very much. That's very kind. Very clearly, God of Abraham can be demonstrated, and I'll give you sources in a bit, that his name is Yehovah. Yehovah. And I'm going to tell you, if Muslims do not worship that Yehovah, when I go to a name, I've clearly moved beyond just claiming monotheism. Now it's identifiable. We're not talking about any monotheism, we're talking about Yehovah monotheism. And so my challenge to you, and I'm going to challenge and say, Muslims do not follow Yehovah's monotheism. You can contradict me if you want. Now, let me go to the
I would
sources.
say Muslims follow more monotheistic than Christians do.
What's that?
We're more monotheistic, and the other monotheist Jews recognize it than Christians are. That's my claim. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, evidence.
Okay, easy.
Evidence.
Easy.
yeah.
Jewish law.
Very easy,
Jew- okay, I'll demonstrate evidence here. In Jewish law, which both agree Jews are monotheists, right? You're Christian or Muslim. In Jewish law, Jews are allowed to go and worship in a mosque. Why? Because Jews say,
Whoa,
Jews
whoa.
say, wait, this is Jewish law.
Whoa,
Wait,
whoa,
we can pull this up right now. In Jewish law, wait, no, let me make a point. So Jews, who are monotheists, we both agree on monotheists, say Muslims are monotheists. But Jews say Christians are pagans.
My
because
dear friend.
Trinity, wait. And Muslims say we're monotheists.
Look,
and Muslims say
I'm
you're
not
pagan.
looking for
So, if
how
you're-
unhappy you are with your
No,
life.
it's not that, it's
That's
that.
not
Let's
what
talk
we're
about
talking
concept.
about.
Let's talk about Abraham's God.
We're not talking about
Let's
that.
talk about Abraham's God.
I am
Because
talking
Abraham
about
worshipped one, not
historical details here.
From where?
You're
Where's
talking
the
about
sources?
your family issues and whatever
What
else.
sources?
We're not dealing with that here.
Let's talk about Aristotle. What
I don't know where you're, what you're doing here, please.
Tell me
Okay,
sources.
sources. The earliest of sources that refers to the name Yahweh refers to him, refers to the nation of Israel of Shashu of Yahweh. Have you ever heard of the inscription which is titled Shashu of Yahweh?
Where did you get it from? The Bible? Archaeology? Where?
Do you know? Don't you know?
He's still
There we
stating
go.
things. I asked you for sources.
Clearly, a disingenuous
Okay,
person
I don't
who
know. I
can't
don't know.
even say, I don't know.
I don't know. Educate
Why
me.
can't you say that?
I
innocent?
don't know.
Okay,
Educate me.
good. You don't know? I've told you right now. When you go home, please take it up.
Oh, so no
Sha-
sources. Go do your own research.
Wow, 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 wow,
What's the
wow,
source?
wow,
What's the
wow,
source?
wow, wow,
What's
wow.
the source? No.
Excuse me, sir.
Wait.
I'd like, no. So far, excuse me, sir.
You had a source.
He's a bit bored by what you're saying here.
This is a religion. This is a doctrine. Where did you get this from?
So far, I'm speaking to you, assuming you're a grown-up. Now, you're showing signs of being a child. I am giving you one evidence, which goes by the name, inscription, which refers to Shashu of Yahweh. Which you are not aware of, that's fine. But are you planning, when you go home, are you willing to check this up? As opposed to shouting, I haven't given you evidence. Are you willing to do this? Are you willing? I didn't ask any question. Well, the only question I asked is, are you willing to do
Can I
this when you
speak?
go home?
Can I speak? Can I speak?
Really can.
Can I speak?
I've heard plenty
Hey,
from
don't
you
chop,
already.
don't chop me. You keep stating things. When I ask you for the evidence, you go on to describe it, and then you tell me go home and find it. When someone asks you for evidence, you say archaeology. We found these stones, the scholars there. You
Did I
say
use the term
religion
archaeology?
and its doctrines, but until now,
Did
you
I
have
use
not.
the term
So I'll ask
archaeology?
you one more time to see if you're reasonable.
Shashu of Yahweh.
There we go.
Have you got a hearing problem, sir?
Why interjecting? What? When you spoke, I listened to you politely, right? Can you give me the same respect? Can I finish?
I respect
Can I land?
you as a man.
Then let me finish.
Okay.
Thank you. So once
Well,
again,
we're just
when
hearing-
I asked you for a source, when a normal rational person would say, this source, religion, doctrine, do this and this book, whatnot, or archaeology, whatnot, all you're saying to me is you're reiterating, redescribing the phenomena, and then you tell me go do your own evidence. So you're talking rubbish. If you're deceiving them, it might
Do you
be
understand
watching,
the word
but
inscription?
Anybody listening has not heard a source. So ask
Do
for
you
last
understand
time,
the word
I
inscription?
will walk up
How
to
many
answer.
of you
There we
can
go.
walk away?
I didn't land.
I
I'll
don't
go
want
back
to deal with
I'll go back
nonsense
then.
for much
Whenever
longer,
I get to you,
sir.
he has got an answer, sit
Do you
down. So I'm
understand?
gonna walk up.
Good, thank
Answer,
you.
one answer.
No, I don't want to prolong this misery.
Of where? From where? What do you know what source is?
If you don't know the source, of course
He's
they'll
happy.
walk away.
Please leave him. All that he wants to do is run away. Please let him do that.
Should we not look at, like you said, you're, now it doesn't say Arabs by this guy, Sibius.
Yeah.
But another, the Chronicle of Khuzestan,
Sure.
talks about Arabs. So that ticks that box, right?
No. Wow.
Why not? Because we
Let's
look at
read what this
multiple
guy
sources.
says.
No.
Separately.
You can, but you're saying this guy doesn't say that they're Arabs.
Yeah.
But a contemporary, non-Christian, a non-Muslim, describes a prophet being a person from the son of Ismail, and he talks about the Arabs coming out as well.
What's your name, sir?
Mash.
Mash.
Yes.
Do we agree that this one hasn't said so far?
I
I'm
agree.
willing to go through everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
So that
using
one
this one
source-
once, because I said, remember I said I have a few questions about this. Yeah?
Fair enough.
So question number one is clearly it's not referring to Arabs.
Yes.
According to him. Yeah. Let me ask you another question. God of Abraham, do we understand and agree already that God of Abraham is Yehovah
I'm not
according
sure.
to early historical artifacts?
I don't know about that. I can't comment, but I'll take your word for it.
Sure. Yehovah. We can go into the details later, but you take Now, do you understand, as Muslims, they are not trying to follow what is there in the Torah. Do we understand that?
Correct.
They rather have a different book, which they consider to be an updated book. But here, clearly, if you read through this, it says that they were supposed to follow the religion of Moses and Abraham. Do you find that there?
Of Abraham. Did you say Moses?
Moses and Abraham, yeah.
Sorry, where? I can't see.
I think, 1 second. Abandoning the vehicles,
Abraham, I think, only.
inform history of Moses. You see, it refers to Moses and Abraham, and it essentially says that they had to get back to that, which is not Islam.
Okay.
Historically, we agree? So, in other words, they are supposed not to have introduced any new religion. Do we agree on that? No new religion, no new text, but it goes back to what was already there, which we have access to today. We have manuscripts of what the Jewish religion was from before even the time of Jesus Christ, which goes back 700, 800 years before this. Do we agree on that?
Okay, so yeah, I can see your point. So here it says,
In other words,
this person, Muhammad, was told them to recognize the God of Abraham, especially because he, as Muhammad, was learned and informed in the history of Moses.
Exactly.
Which is the Torah.
exactly.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. In other
So that's
words,
fine.
whoever this guy was, he is not introducing a new religion. He is going back to what was already there. That's what he is going back to.
That's okay. I don't fully agree with that interpretation, but
Well, now you check this out. Is he referring to God of Abraham and God of Moses?
which we accept. We accept the God of Abraham. as the
No,
Lord.
no. Moses, we have records of today. We have records going back before even the time of Jesus. We have records of exactly what he taught. We have records of this, which today we call the Torah. We have access to that from the Masoretic text. We have access to that from the Dead Sea
Of which
Scrolls.
we accept. But
Do
we
you-
have updated. Islam has updated, like you said.
No. Let me ask you another simple question. That'll help us clearly establish. Very simple point that I'm trying to make. Do Muslims read the Torah to follow the religion?
No.
That's all I'm asking. But here he's talking about Moses, the history of Moses, and learning the history of Moses. That's what his focus was.
I think